JBN, we keep you informed. Westmoreland police seek Daniel Johnson for help with investigation. The Westmoreland police are seeking the public's assistance in locating an individual whom they believe may be able to assist them in an ongoing investigation. The man, identified as Daniel Johnson, is being asked to make contact with the Savlamar police station on Great George's Street in Westmoreland by midday tomorrow. In addition, anyone who is able to assist the police in locating Johnson is being asked to contact the Savlamar Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-955-2758, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. District Constable found with stolen money. Investigators from the Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau IPROBE have arrested and charged District Constable Ricardo Sigri, assigned to the K9 Division, for breaches of the Larceny Act. On Friday, July 10, 2020, Sigri was reportedly on an operation in the corporate area when a sum of money reportedly went missing. A search of the police personnel on the location was done and the money found in the possession of Sigri. A file was prepared and sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for a ruling. Wednesday, 15th July 2020, the ruling was received and Sigri charged with simple larceny. He appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, where he was offered bail in the sum of $300,000 with sureties. His travel documents were ordered surrendered and is to report twice per week to the police. Gays mob hospital clerk. An attack by allegedly gay men on a worker at the St. Ansbury Regional Hospital on Monday has prompted a review of the security arrangements at the facility. Kevin Dixon, a health records clerk employed to the institution, was attacked and beaten by the men after he told them to remove their vehicle from the designated staff parking area. Dixon had to be hospitalized. The attack prompted colleagues of Dixon's to stay off the job in protest. A meeting on Wednesday between management at the hospital and Howard Lichmore of the Union of Technical, Administrative and Supervisory Personnel resulted in an agreement to immediately put additional security personnel in place at the hospital. But while the meeting was in progress, the men again attacked staff members with stones. Reports are that on Monday, a car with 5 men, including a sick person, drove onto the compound and headed to the staff parking area. A security officer some distance away shouted at them to remove the vehicle, but they apparently didn't hear. Dixon, who was just leaving work and who reached the parking lot, then relayed the message to the driver. The driver then allegedly ran the car over one of his feet, after which 3 of the men alighted and attacked him, leaving him bleeding from a cut to his head. We were told while the worker was being attacked, the security failed to come to his assistance, Lichmore said on Wednesday. We were told there was no intervention by the security, whether because of their limited number or they were afraid to intervene, but there was no intervention. The guy had to run and take cover inside the registration department. The police were called to the scene, but alleged eyewitnesses said that the lawmen left without even addressing the perpetrators. The workers are feeling disrespected because the police came and talked to Dixon and asked him to make a report at the station while the aggressors were still on the compound and no attempt was made to remove them, said Lichmore. That is why the workers feel disrespected. After the attack, staff within the records department withdrew their service in solidarity with their colleague. This irked the men who accused the staff of anti-gay discrimination. The sick person was later registered and is currently a patient at the hospital. A video of the rant is being circulated and another purportedly showing a man modeling in the nude in the hospital car park. It's an intimidatory strategy to scare people from approaching them. They use that strategy at all times, Lichmore said. Court rules continued detention of 5 men under SOE unconstitutional. A Supreme Court judge has declared that the continued detention of 5 men under the states of emergency SOE is unconstitutional and has ordered their release. As a result of the order by Justice Bertram Morrison, the men Everton Douglas, Nicholas Heath, Courtney Hall, Courtney Thompson, and Gavin Noble are to be taken to the Supreme Court on Monday to be released. The men are being held under SOEs in Kingston Eastern, St. Andrew South, Westmoreland, and Clarendon. Morrison's decision was handed down in the Supreme Court yesterday afternoon in separate legal challenges filed by the men's attorneys. Some of the men have been in custody for more than a year without being charged with any crime. According to one attorney, the judge held that a man's freedom cannot be arbitrarily taken away without a final determination by the court. The judge's written decision will be handed down by the end of the court term later this month. He said it cannot be that the Emergency Powers Act and the Emergency Powers Regulation can be so cavalier in its treatment of the liberty of a citizen. The habeas corpus writ challenging the men's detention was filed by attorneys Isaac Buchanan, John Clark, and Sheikah Richards. September sentencing for Clarendon cop who stole service pistol and ammunition. A sentencing hearing has been set in September for police constable Ajani Bean, who pleaded guilty to stealing a service pistol along with ammunition from a St. Catherine police station. Bean is charged with illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and the simple larceny of a firearm. He pleaded guilty to the offences in the Home Circuit Court in June and is to be sentenced on September 14. The police report that on October 15, 2019, Bean stole a Glock service pistol with a magazine containing 14 9mm rounds of ammunition from the police station and took it to his home in 9 Mile, Clarendon. They further say that an extensive operation was conducted and the weapon found at the premises, and Bean was later arrested in January 2020 and subsequently charged. SOE extension could keep Tommy Lee Sparta grounded. With Parliament extending the term of the state of emergency to September 3, dancehall star Tommy Lee Sparta is likely to spend much longer behind bars after being taken into custody 2 weeks ago. Despite being grilled for hours since surrendering to the police, the artist, who was being linked to a deadly gang feuding flankers by the police, has not been released. The artist, whose real name is Leroy Russell Jr., is originally from crime-plagued flankers, but has been living in Kingston for several years. He was listed as a person of interest on July 7, 2020, and ordered to report to the Freeport police station within 24 hours. Attorney at law Ernest Smith said that his client is not guilty of any criminal activities. The artist has been interviewed by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch and Organized Crime Investigation Division, among other agencies, Smith said. They have no charges against him. They want to question him. He has not been told anything of any offense he has committed, he said. He has not been told that he is inciting anything. He is just told that he has influence over a gang by the name of Sparta Gang. Illegal occupation house saga involving Victor Wright deepens. The illegal occupation of House saga, engulfing opposition spokesman on agriculture and Northern Trelawney MP, the PMP's Victor Wright, is deepening. The state-owned SCJ Holdings Company Limited says it will be instructing its attorneys to file a claim in the Supreme Court seeking recovery of possession of the government-owned house, which it says Mr. Wright has been occupying for 6 years without a valid lease. The SCJ says it has also instructed its lawyers to use the court to recover more than $3 million of expenses allegedly racked up by the opposition MP in connection with his occupation of the house. The SCJ Holdings Company says by a letter dated June 4, 2014, it wrote to Mr. Wright, giving notice to him that the SCJ will not grant him any further lease of the property. Further, the SCJ says it also gave Mr. Wright notice to quit and deliver up possession of the property to the SCJ on or before July 4, 2014. The SCJ is alleging that at that time Mr. Wright owed $127,000 in rent. According to the SCJ, the records disclose that Mr. Wright had disputed the quantum of rent that had been demanded by the SCJ. In response, the SCJ says it wrote to Mr. Wright on June 23, 2014, advising that in light of his claim of a discrepancy between his records and the SCJ records, he should supply the SCJ with copies of all the receipts in his possession for lease rental and utility charges pertaining to the property. But the state-owned company says there is no evidence on file that Mr. Wright ever produced the SCJ with any of the alleged receipts. The SCJ says despite this failure and a subsequent notice that he vacated the property by June 4, 2014, Mr. Wright failed to quit and deliver up the premises to the SCJ as was required. The company is also alleging that no payment was made by Mr. Wright for the first 18 months of the lease. According to the SCJ, its review shows that the Northern Trelawney MP made 5 payments on account of rental, totaling in aggregate $80,000. The company says accordingly, the outstanding rental, which currently remains payable by Mr. Wright, is $674,000. According to the SCJ, following a review, it was discovered that Mr. Wright made 3 payments on his electricity bill, which totaled $60,000. But the SCJ says Mr. Wright still owes just under $3 million in electricity charges in connection with the property, which he continues to occupy regardless of there being no evidence of a valid lease agreement. According to the SCJ's affiliate entity, the Sugar Company of Jamaica owes Mr. Wright $500,000 in connection with a separate matter when he was made redundant from the sugar factory. On Monday, Mr. Wright denied owing money to the government. Mayor warns squatters of Lucea coastline. The squatters who have been illegally constructing houses along the coastline in Lucea, Hanover, will not get a chance to become entrenched as the town's mayor, Councillor Sheridan Samuels, has begun taking steps to have them removed as early as possible. In lashing out against the squatters at the recent monthly meeting of the Hanover Municipal Corporation, of which he serves as chairman, Samuels described the unauthorized development which is taking place in proximity to the Lucea Municipal Car Park as both illegal and unhealthy. In calling on the Hanover Health Department to investigate the situation, Samuels asked Dr. Kushal Singh, the Medical Officer of Health for Hanover, to investigate the situation, especially as it relates to health breaches, with a view of ensuring that the requisite action is taken to have them removed. Dr. Singh, I want you to pay close attention to this. We have been talking about it. We have been having some serious issues with persons capturing lands. And I'm talking about in the town center itself, said Samuels. Persons think they can go and just build on the council's property. It is happening over by the bus park there across the road, where we have at least 3 individuals that actually build houses on the shoreline. The mayor also pointed out that based on the information he has received, there are no sanitary conveniences for the new structures, and as such, the occupants of the houses are disposing of their waste in plastic bags along the shoreline. We were cleaning along the shoreline just the other day, and the persons who were working there came upon a lot of ladder bags with that thing inside of them, explained Samuels. Apart from the illegality as it relates to the construction of the houses, the mayor said he was particularly concerned about the number of persons occupying the houses, which make the health considerations even more concerning. In one of the houses that they build on the shoreline, right in the commercial area, you have at least 6 persons sleeping in one space around there. I want your department to pay them a visit, Samuels told Dr. Singh. The medical officer of health said that he would assign personnel from the health department to investigate the matter and to take the necessary action. However, he also suggested that the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF and the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA should also be notified of the situation, as there might be other possible breaches taking place in the area. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.